and sine and cosine. So, areas of a regular polygon. Let's also refresh what regular polygon means. What does it mean to be regular? What does it mean to be regular? Equal sides and equal angles. Okay, so a regular polygon, we have equal sides and equal angles. You are correct. A square would be a regular polygon. Okay? There is a formula to find the area of a regular polygon. As long as we have equal sides and equal angles, it works. That formula is area is equal to 1/2 perimeter times apothem. Capital P stands for perimeter. A stands for the apothem, which I will show you what it is once you guys have that down so you understand where to find the apothem from in the regular polygon. Not a possum, an apothem.
It's kind of like logistic.
Yeah, just like that.
Logistics.
No, it's like logistiums. Logarithms. Like the
Logarithms.
log, yeah.
That's something we
So the apothem. The apothem is located, it is the length from the center to the edge, and it forms a 90-degree angle. So right there would be your apothem on that regular pentagon in that diagram. Okay? Center to the edge forming a 90-degree angle. You could, of course, get that apothem drawing out to any of those other edges as well. But you need to know that length. And we already know perimeter. Perimeter is distance around. So we're just going to jump in and go for one. Okay? So we need to find perimeter and then this apothem. Once when we find both of those, then we can find the area. So find the area of RSTUV, that problem right up there, if the perimeter is 60 centimeters. You will most definitely need a calculator for this. Unless you all have tangent functions built into your head. I don't think they're making you yet like that, so maybe 10 years from now that'll just be a little chip I can just plug into the back of your heads and you'll know it. But
I gotta wait till this year.
okay. So we are using that example up there. So first off, we already know perimeter. So to find this area, we do 1/2 perimeter times apothem. So we already know the 60 part. We need to find the apothem part. Okay. So let's think. If we have a perimeter of 60, how many sides are there? 5. So how would we get the length of each side?
60 divided by 5.
Okay, so we can do 60 divided by 5. That would give us the length of each side. So what is that? 12. So 12 is our length of each side. So each of these sides up here have a length of 12. Now what we're going to do is we are going to focus on that triangle right there, the one that has the apothem for the height.
I feel like when you say apothem, we're thinking of like Batman.
Gotham.
Like from Gotham City?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Apothem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so that triangle, we got this at 12, and we want to know this, that right there, which would be that height of the triangle. So that's our apothem.
So would it be?
So first off, if this whole length is 12, and I draw this right triangle in, what would each side of it have to be? 6. Okay, so we got that 6 and that 6.
Can we use problem from last section?
No, we can't yet. We need to figure out an angle measure, because if we have an angle measure, then we could do sine, cosine, or tangent to help us solve. So, once again, we can take a look at our central angle here, this A. And I could like make spokes out, right? And how many triangles would there be?
4 or 5.
5. There are 5 total triangles. So how could I get that angle up here at A? How could I get that whole angle?
360 divided by 5.
Yeah, so we could go 360 divided by 5. What's that? 72 degrees. So that tells us 72 degrees is our entire angle. I didn't really want to fill that in down there because that's, oh, there goes my triangle. Should have known that was going to happen.
Only have 6 weeks of school.
Okay, so 72 degrees is that entire angle. But what would just be part of that angle to get?
72 divided by 2.
Yeah, it'd be 72 divided by 2. So what would that be?
36.
So that angle is 36 degrees. So I'm just going to redraw this out for us. So we have one right triangle that we're looking at. Now, I can find the apothem. I have an angle measure and I have a side measure.
Now we can do my thing?
Well, what thing are you thinking of?
You know, those problems.
The 30, 60, 90s?
Mhm.
We could do that if this were a 30, 60, 90, but that angle measure is
Or
36.
triangle half BH, I don't know.
That would find the area of it, but once again, we need to know the length of A, of the apothem first.
A squared, what about the side of here?
Oh, but we don't know this one either.
You have to know.
180 minus.
You have to know 2 sides.
Tangent. Oh, yeah.
Tangent.
Sign.
Well, okay, so how would the tangent function help us here? SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So if here's our angle, we have the opposite side and we have the adjacent side. So how can I set that up to find my apothem? Tangent of what? 36, because your angle measure is equal to
Equals 6.
6 over A. How do you get A then? Not times it by 6, because A is in the denominator. Yep, so you do 6 divided by the tangent of 36. Brings you back to what we did a while ago. What do we end up getting?
0.77.
You did something incorrect.
8 point.
8.25. You want to leave that value in your calculator. So leave your apothem that you just got in there. Okay, leave it in, and then you'll times that by 60 and times it by a half. Yep. We'd say centimeters squared because we're dealing with centimeters here.
Wait, why would we see? Oh, I don't
Because we're finding area, yep. This does come from, the apothem is the height of this triangle, so this does come from finding each triangle together. So that's where the 1/2 and the height is from, yes.
Why are we dividing 6 by the tangent?
To get our A alone, we'd have to times by A. And then our A is by the tangent of 36, and we'd have to divide by the tangent of 36.
I thought you said you multiply.
I said we can't multiply.
Oh.
And then so we would have 6 divided by the tangent of 36 to get the A alone.
I said the tangent of 6 and
Okay, we'll do another one. So there's a few steps. You gotta find the perimeter. You gotta find your triangle that has your apothem for the height. So you have to take 360 divided by how many ever sides you have. That gives you your whole angle. Divide it by 2 to get your triangle that will actually have your apothem on it there. So we're going to do these two as well. We're going to do 1/2 perimeter times apothem to find the area of these as well. Now number 1 is a regular triangle. So you could find this 2 ways. You could do 1/2 base times height, or you could do 1/2 perimeter times apothem. No, we don't have the base we have the base, but we don't have the height here. We could solve for height, yep. But this diagram already has a little apothem set up for us, so we might as well just do perimeter times apothem. But really, you could use either way. So 1/2 perimeter times apothem. So if this length is 14, what would be the perimeter? Yeah, 14 times 3, or 42. So our perimeter is 42. Now I just need to find the apothem. So on this diagram, the apothem is that little length. Yeah, why would this be a 30, 60, 90?
Because there's a 90 thing out.
Yeah, so we could do it two ways. This is a regular triangle, so the 3 angles would have to be the same. So each angle is 60 degrees. If each angle is 60, then we look at this little triangle here, what would that angle have to be? 30, and then we have a 30, 60, 90. Okay. If you looked at the large triangle here, if you did 360 divided by 3, you would get 120, and then that would be that whole angle. So then half of that would be 60, which would go over there. All right, so I'm going to just draw that triangle out a little bit larger for us to look at. If that whole length is 14, what is this? 7. Okay, you could do tangent once again to find A. However, 30, 60, 90, we have that wonderful quick relationship. We have your short side is like your x, and this would be your x square root of 3. So if you have this side, how do you get to your A? It's just the x part, but this says 7, so how do we get the... Okay, so 7 would equal x squared root of 3, so how would we get to the x? Divide by the square root of 3. So this side would be 7 divided by the square root of 3. And you could actually just put that all in your calculator and it should come out for you. Be careful with your parentheses on the square root of 3 and close them.
Well, I just love how you say parentheses.
4.0.
Wait, what'd you guys get?
4.0.
I got 84.
Did wrong.
You guys got 4.0 for the apothem, correct? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep, so now, yeah, so you got the 4.0 for the apothem, which is correct. It's like 4.04. But now take that number and actually use it in your area formula to get the area. Yep. I'm going to agree with the 84.9. Make sure you don't round it. Use that exact value that you get in your calculator on there. Some of you did round things on your quiz yesterday. So like you would tell me that problem is 4, and then you would get an even number for the area, which is not correct. So I took off some points for that. A few of you did that. All right, is that one okay? Sure? All right. Number 2. Okay, what type of shape do we have for number 2?
A pentagon.
It is a pentagon. So we're going to have to do 1/2 perimeter times apothem. Okay, so the perimeter first, each side is 10. So the perimeter would have to be 10 times 5. So 50. So we have 1/2. 50 times, now we need the apothem.
Well, we know that
So we
the
can
small side is 5.
We know the small side is 5, that's correct. This is I don't know how I plan to make a triangle out of that. So there's our triangle with our apothem on there and the small side of 5. So then we need the angle measure.
So, could we do that?
So how are we going to get that angle right up here? What are we going to have to do?
360 divided together.
Okay, so we do 360 divided by 5 to give us 72, but that is this entire angle.
72 divided by 2, which is 30.
So we have to divide that by 2, and we get 36.
So then can we do tangent?
Yep, so now we could do tangent to get this.
36.
So tangent of 36 is equal to 5 over a. How do you solve that for a?
Divided.
Yeah, 5 divided by the tangent of 36, and you get what?
I got 6.8. So 6.9.
So 6.88.
Okay, I have a really dumb question. But
No
okay,
question
would it
is dumb.
still be adjacent if it was on the other side?
If it was over here? No, over there. Right here, this is the hypotenuse always, because it's across from the 90. Okay, when you get the length of your apothem, the 6.88, leave it into your calculator,
172.
and then times it by the 50 and a half. What'd you say, 172 point what?
0.
0 inches squared. Now, say you don't really like doing the 30, 60, 90 stuff. Could you have solved our previous problem using tangent? Yep. Okay. So you can always use tangent to help you get that apothem if you would prefer that method. But
Did you plug 30 into the tangent then? Is
yep,
that
you would
what
use the 30 in. Yep. Are you okay with these two? All right, do another one. We'll do another two then. Only way to get good at these is to do a bunch of them.
Yeah. Miss Burns, you should let one of us come up and do it on the board. It looks fun.
This looks fun to use.
Interaction.
This is what I consider fun.
Okay. So,
So what type of shape is 3?
that is an octagon.
An
No, that's-
octagon.
That's not right, is it? Yeah. Oh, it is right. Okay. So each side is 10.
Okay.
So it means it's 80.
All right, so if we think of 1/2 perimeter times apothem, the perimeter would be 10 times 8 or 80. Now we need to find that apothem.
And then the apothem.
So I'm just going to redraw out that triangle. That whole length is 10. What's this part of the triangle? That's 5. And now we need to get the angle measure.
So what we do?
How are we going to get that angle this time?
360 divided.
Okay, so we'll start with 360 divided by 8, and we get what?
We get 45, so then divide that by 2.
Yep, then we have to divide that by 2. And so we have 22.5 degrees. So now how can we set it up so that we get our apothem length?
Tangent 22.5 equals 5 divided by 8.
Yep, tangent at 22.5 is equal to 5 over a.
Can we always, is it always supposed to be divided?
As long as it's set up with your variable in the denominator, you will always be dividing. Good, so it's 12.07.
So we get
So use that exact value, times it by your half and your 80. Yep,
inches squared.
good. Is this okay? Starting to get the hang of it? Yes? Well, we'll do another one. This one looks like it might be a little bit easier.
Yes.
Why does this one look like it's a little bit easier? Yeah, it gives us the apothem already, and then what else does it give us?
This side angle.
A length of a side. So if we have one length of the side, can we easily find the perimeter?
Yup.
Yeah, we can. So this is a pentagon. So 1/2 perimeter times apothem. How are we going to get the perimeter for this one?
Multiply by 5.
Yep, 10.9 times 5.
54.
Good, so 54.5. So we'll take 1/2 perimeter of 54.5, and what's the apothem? 7.5.
Do you want us to, what do you want us to round to the nearest 10?
Yep, that's what we've been doing. Yep, 204.4 meters squared. Is that one okay? I'm assuming that one is if the other ones were. This one's a little bit harder. Oh, I think we got a few more. We'll do 5, and then we will pick up tomorrow with the examples like 6. Okay?
Are we getting an assignment today?
Yep, and the assignment will be over the next 2 days. So a nonagon with side length of 8 meters. Nonagon has how many sides? 9. We don't really need to draw out a 9-sided figure to do this. The only thing we need to know is that little triangle to get the apothem, right? So we know we do 1/2 perimeter times apothem. Well, first off, can we get the perimeter?
8 times 9.
Okay, so the perimeter is 8 times 9, so 72. And now we need the apothem. So we are just going to envision what our triangle should look like that has the apothem on it. Okay, we don't... So that should be the apothem. So if the side length is 8, what should that little side be? 4. Okay? And now we need to get the angle. Yep, so here we would do 360 divided by 9 to get 40, and divide that by 2 to get 20. Okay, so no diagram, but that's perfectly fine. We can still get it. So now how would I set this up to get the apothem?
Tangent 20 equals 4 over 5 by 8.
Yep, tangent of 20 is equal to 4 over a. So how would you solve for a?
Divide 4 divided by 8.
4 divided by tangent of 20, yep, and what do we get?
A number that you plug back into.
Yep, 10.989 and so on. Take that exact number and times it by 1/2 and you're 72. What do we end up getting?
95.6.
Yeah, 395.6 meters squared. That 3 kind of looks odd.